cult, a Ponzi scheme, a couch, even. These are all ways you can refer to a gathering that has the interest of a single or group of high and mighty individuals in mind. In most depictions of cults, the leader is usually an egotistical, charismatic, yet self-centered person. While they might preach that they want the best for the people of their community, all it takes is a single step out of line, or being somewhere at the wrong time for them to drop that persona, blow up, and immediately go into damage control mode after the fact. And by damage control, of course I mean justifying their blow up to their following. As there are many names for groups like these, the niches these groups fall in usually varies from the community they start up in. In the furry fandom, we've had Furry Valley, who have had multiple cases of cult-like behavior paired with blackmail, minor grooming, and doxing, as well as a group called Corpse, whose cult-like behavior was allegedly focused on grooming people into becoming transgender. Both cases I plan to look into in the future, but something else had come up recently that reminded me of these two, but just on a smaller scale. While one of the groups I mentioned at least had an outward appearance of acceptance and loving for everyone who wanted to join, this group was aimed at those who were fans of the creator, which doesn't sound bad until you realized it was a group only for the fans of the creator. A group for fans who would only talk about the creator and only the creator. A group where, in the ideal circumstance, this creator would set a record for being in the most parasocial relationships at once. Of course, you probably know by now that the creator I'm talking about goes by Garo Shadowscale. For those who don't know, you're probably wondering who Garo Shadowscale is. Garo is a content creator primarily known for streaming on Twitch.
Yes! Never getting Nazi proposals, not yet. Oh my gosh, he's already
VR chat videos on YouTube.
Look, there's nothing thick about it. It's moderately sized, okay? Not thick. You see these? You see these boys? You can't numb them, Cinder. No matter how much you might want to. They're too speedy for you.
As well as thumbnails and video titles so suggestive, they give Beta Ada Delota a run for his money. While his content certainly isn't something I can find myself watching for more than a minute at a time, obviously someone just able to legally drink this year isn't his main demographic. So since his content isn't problematic for the most part, why am I comparing the Discord server he owns to that of a cult? A user would actually bring me information concerning Garo all the way back in August, but with college prep getting the better of me, my terrible memory made light work of dropping the ball there. It wasn't until the start of November that I get reminded of him through a tweet that posted a screenshot of his Discord server rules. A post that reeks of some form of abandonment issues. First off, server rules apply in all these cases. Do not friend request or target other Wigglies. Of course, we're playing games together and there will be conversations and cooperation, but keep it to a minimum towards other Wigglies. Also, friend requesting or playing together in games like VR Chat Among Us together when I'm not hosting it are not allowed. Of course, my Minecraft and Terraria servers are perfectly fine to game with each other on 24/7. Just don't organize group activities without me, even if it's just with one other Wiggly. And as always, keep focus on myself and my content. Also, as mentioned in server rule number 1, and in my Patreon disclaimer, active streamers/YouTubers cannot claim these rewards or even be in my server. If at any point you start streaming or making YouTube vids, you will lose your rewards, and you will be removed from my server. If you witness someone violating this, let me know. Now, just from reading this, you might be absolutely perplexed as to how Garo's server isn't just him and maybe a Discord bot or two. Following this, you actually just can't talk about anything but him or his content. Also, this isn't a new thing either. These rules have been in effect since September of 2020. He doesn't allow active streamers or YouTubers to join, nor does he allow you to ask for advice if you just so happen to want to become a content creator like him. The rest of these are usual Discord rules, but fall under the category of yes, but actually not really. No toxicity or drama, I get. No cursing is definitely a new one and gives a sense to his intended audience in a way. Having an English-only server makes sense. No bold, italicized, underlined, or strike-through text though. No not safe for work, fetish, gore content makes sense. But then you see that you can't have any artwork or discussion in the server that involves your OC or Sona, unless it has something to do with him. You can't be a creator, you can't ask your potential inspiration for advice on how to become a creator like him. The way you type is pretty much policed, and you can't post artwork unless it involves him. There are echo chambers, and then there's that one still from iRobot. I understand it's his server and the rules can be whatever he wants them to be, but that doesn't exactly excuse the amount of self-centered micromanagement this probably results in, and it only gets worse when you see it in action. You have Garo directly messaging a member of his server here. The context is that it was the user's birthday, so naturally people in the server were telling them happy birthday. But because you took attention from Garo and his content, he decided to message them privately. Hey, I hope you had a good birthday. Just remember to keep the attention and focus on myself and my server and stream. It really felt like you were trying to push your birthday topic and gift topic a bit much. Then when you were mentioning that you couldn't post a pic, it felt like you were baiting for a gift sub or for DMs to ask about your gift. Don't do that again, alright? This is just pure lunacy on its own. But then the person responds saying, okay, my bad. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was drawing a lot of attention to myself. Sorry about that. This isn't against the person by any means, but they apologized for celebrating their birthday too publicly for Garo. I feel genuinely bad for this person, but every situation has a bright side, I suppose. The bright side here being that I can't tell if this user supports Garo on his Patreon or not. And speaking of Patreon, guess what else got called into question recently? Along with his Discord server rules being called into question, people also saw that his Patreon rates and rewards also reeked of the same narcissism. First up, we have Paw, the tipping tier. Naturally, a tipping tier is for those who just want to send some pocket change to a creator because they love what they do. Because it's a tipping tier, $5 seems a bit steep. Normally, you'd see it for about $1 or so. I use Ko-fi for people to tip me if they like, but even the base $3 Ko-fi recommends feels a tad much, even for a one-time thing. If only I stopped procrastinating and lowered it, but we're getting off topic here. Following Garo into a back alleyway brings you to the next tier, but for $25. Here is where you actually get benefits for supporting him. Immediately, you see the list is essentially set in a way that makes it appear that you're getting a lot, but in reality, a number of these can just be grouped together. You'll get a guaranteed slot in his Terraria and Minecraft servers, priority access to VR chat, Jackbox, and Among Us with him, a friend request on Steam, early access to his YouTube videos, ad-free YouTube videos, which is presumably him posting the video on Patreon so you won't get ads, being credited at the end of his YouTube videos, and a role on his Discord server. For $25, this sure doesn't feel like it's worth the quarter of $100 per month. 15 or 20 maybe, but these perks for that kind of money a month just feels undefendable. And speaking of undefendable, what if we were to jump to $100 a month? Well, that would bring us to the love tier. With this tier, we are able to get VR chat selfies with him, which is completely void due to the existence of the print screen button. A daily in-game hug from him in VR chat when the stream starts, which is essentially this.
Satoshi, Big XA Precious Wiggly, thank you so much for being a WoW tier patron. I love and appreciate you so much at Precious Wiggly. That makes me super duper happy to see. And don't forget, you can send me at least a DM every day and I will respond. You are guaranteed that as per your rewards. And also, I didn't forget that you're saying Friday would be a good time for the private call. Fridays are usually a bit rough for me, but I think I can do it. If not, then we can definitely reschedule it, but it will happen, of course. But I love you lots at Precious Satoshi Wiggly. Thank you for your support and all of you mean so much to me at Precious Wiggly. I'm so happy to have you in my life.
The same perks as the butt tier, a 15% discount on his merch, and an extra Beat Saber song request. This is all you get for an extra $75 a month. The butt tier was debatable. This is just highway robbery. I also have to point out that he could just put a bullet point that says all the perks from all previous tiers and then add the extra ones for that tier. But instead, he decided to just copy and paste them over to the next tier, making it look like you're getting more for your money. But obviously if he actually put that, it would actually show how horrid these perks are in comparison to their asking price. But let's go even further. Let's go up $150 a month to the Uwu tier. Here you get the previous tiers, along with a 20-minute private voice chat with him. Presumably about him if his actions are anything to go by. You also get a Discord DM every day. This is what $150 gets you. This isn't even an exaggeration by any means. These are the only two differences between giving him $100 and giving him $250. And remember, that's per month. Do I even want to get into what happens if you decide to pay double that $250? You get a private VR chat session with him for 20 minutes, and that one DM a day becomes 2. that's fucking it. You can go on about how people don't have to pay this to interact with you, but then again, that doesn't excuse you committing highway robbery on those who have money to waste. Though I just want to say that I have no qualms with his audience. I just want to make that completely clear. Even if they're supporting him on Patreon, they're not the problem here. The problem is with the streamer who thinks it's okay to charge absurd amounts of money per month for objectively asinine rewards. For $500 you get reserved spots to play games with him, $15 off this, a monthly voice chat, and 2 DMs a day from him, as well as benefits in a server you can immediately get booted from if you happen to go on about something that isn't about him. That is essentially $500 you're paying to hyperfixate on a single person. It just isn't worth it whatsoever, and it is equally as shit that these are the prices that he decided to offer. But obviously that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. Others had problems with this as well, so naturally Garo had to respond to those criticizing how he tried to micromanage his supporters. So he would post my statement, a video with like ratios turned off and heavily moderated comments. It's sad to see how this escalated. I hope this is over soon, Snoot, so we can all go back to numbing our pausies. Well, that's actually a comment that he likes. Can't say I would've, but let's get to the statement.
Hey guys, I've seen a lot of discussion about my channel, my Patreon, my Discord. I wanted to address it and talk about it. First, I want to apologize for being rude or offensive to several people in DMs in the past. It was not my intent, and I never wanted to hurt anyone. I am a blunt and straightforward person by nature, but I am making an effort to be more careful and considerate with how I phrase things. I'm genuinely very sorry for any hurt I caused to anyone. That was never my intention.
First up is your usual apology. Not my place to say if it's genuine or not, but it still doesn't personally sit right with me that blunt and straightforward equates to telling someone stop celebrating their birthday so loudly.
Now, the next thing, I've seen some people saying that my community is mostly made up of minors, and this is simply not true. YouTube is one of my biggest platforms and has some of the best analytics. And if you go down here, you can see that over 75% of my viewers are between the ages of 18 and 44. Less than 7% of my viewers are between the ages of 13 and 17. So less than 7% of my viewers are minors. The vast, vast majority of my viewers and community are over 18 years old.
Yeah, that sounds like something a YouTuber would say. Definitely, probably. Not at all, actually. The age of your viewership on YouTube might just be one of the most unreliable statistics they offer you. The only metric it has to work off of is whatever age the person watching your video chose, which can be heavily misrepresented when you take into account that kids will lie to get what they want. I should know. I was kids. The fact that a child could just put in that they're 18 so they can see age-restricted content, or even just watch a video on their parents' device, is what makes this statistic something you should never base your viewership on. I don't know who the viewer base for this would be, but this just isn't the way you want to go about doing that. But if YouTube is one of your biggest platforms, as you said, clearly you can't be that dense when it comes to how Creator Studio works.
Now, regarding my Patreon, I've seen that some people have the impression that people have to be pledged to my Patreon to be part of my community, or even to talk to me. That's simply not true. Most of my community isn't pledged, and I chat and hang out with them every day in Twitch and Discord for hours, regardless of Patreon status. And I do that because I love it. I love talking to my viewers and hanging out with my community. But for people who want more options, the tiers exist. It's 100% an extra thing that people can choose to pledge to if they want to. No one is under any obligation to pledge to my Patreon. It is 100% up to personal choice. They are free to choose if they want those tiers and rewards. Please don't harass my community members and viewers based on what they choose to spend their money on.
I get the point of saying that all this is optional, but these Patreon tiers are the equivalent to someone walking up to rob you and then asking how much money they should take from you. The more money you give them, the less the bullet wound is gonna hurt when they run off with your cash.
Now, I've seen a lot of discussion about my Discord rules, If someone likes my Discord rules and wants to join my Discord server, they're more than welcome to join my server. If someone does not like my Discord server rules, they don't have to join my server. It 100% comes down to personal choice or preference, and you are free to agree or disagree with my rules. There are tons of other servers, Patreons, streamers, and YouTubers, but please don't harass my server members for choosing to be here.
This is where you can smell his putrid defense as bright as day. He's essentially saying that it was a choice for his fans to adhere to his cult-like rule set, and their choice to give him worrying amounts of money for perks that aren't worth their price. And again, I have to clarify, the fans are not the problem here. If they pay for it, it's their decision. The problem is them being offered these tiers in the first place. It's the same as buying anything from a scalper. You don't want to have to pay that high a price for the product, but if you want the product bad enough, you'll fork over the money to get it. It's not your fault that you wanted the product so bad that you paid far more than what it was worth. It's the scalper's fault for charging it at that high a price, knowing that someone will want it bad enough to pay that. Your fans aren't the problem here. It's you taking advantage of them. He brings up that there's been hate towards his fans and family to the point of DDoSing, while absolutely no proof was given to prove that DDoSing. Obviously sending hate to his fans is actually brain dead. They aren't even the ones running his Patreon after all. That doesn't mean you should send hate to Garo either. It's on him to realize just how shitty it is that he's overcharging Patreon tiers and molding a Discord den for one parasocial relationship after another. That's it. That's all. So now that we've reached the end of the video, be sure to leave a comment to share your thoughts on Garo's actions here. Like, subscribe, all that usual YouTube crap, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.